Hi, it's Suli again, and today is May 12th, and I'm here to share with you the social media EDS challenge awareness topic for today, which is recognizing healthcare professionals that have listened to you, that have treated you well, that understand Danlos and its comorbidities, and provides good care for their patients. So I have included pictures of them at the end of the video because I'm still learning how to edit. I want to take an editing course to know how to put pictures and everything as I speak and share my screen. I am just starting to do this as a blog more of because like today I had 3 medical appointments and I was exhausted. I came home, took a nap, and then I was like, you know what, I haven't posted about today's topic, and rather than just posting a picture, I'm gonna do a video because it cheers me up to do my makeup and to be speaking to you guys, because this way is more personable and I can tell you what I think about each of the doctors and healthcare providers that I will be mentioning. So let's get to it. First is Dr. Ambrosio Romero. He's the best primary care physician I've ever had. So if you are looking for a PCP and you believe that you have Ehlers Danlos or any other condition, he will take his time to assess you and research whatever he does it, and he does a lot of testing to make sure, like it was through him that I found out that I not only have that trifecta, which the trifecta of Ehlers-Danlos is Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell activation syndrome, and POTS, but it also has, POTS is postural tachycardia syndrome, for those of you that don't know. Anyways, but besides what they call the trifecta, there are other comorbidities that are very common with Ehlers-Danlos, such as autoimmune conditions. So I do have Sjorgen's, and I have IBS, and I have Hashimoto's. So a lot of different conditions that are kind of under the umbrella of having Ehlers-Danlos. And he is not only a doctor that will listen and will send you to necessary tests, he will also advocate for you. He was a key component in me receiving the Ehlers-Danlos diagnostic social security, of being approved for Ehlers-Danlos. I know a lot of patients, fellow zebras that have gotten denied the first time and have needed a lawyer or needed to appeal. And I actually was lucky enough. It did take almost a year, but I got approved for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and my comorbidities, and without a lawyer. So that was amazing. And I owe it to, a lot of doctors here on the list, but primarily Dr. Romero, because he was the doctor that they interviewed for this. And like I said, I've been his patient for 6 years and I absolutely love him. Next, let's move on. I have Dr. Paldeep Atwal. Now, he's self-pay, but in my opinion, it was totally worth it to save up the money to go see him. And he does take PayPal, and PayPal now you can split the payments in 4. But he's a connective tissue specialist, geneticist. So he actually will take his time to listen to you, go over all of your records, do the buy-in score if he suspects hypermobile Ehlers Danlos. And for those of you that don't know what the bite-in score is, I will include a link to it on my description. But when I was little, I was lucky enough to get diagnosed when I was only 15. But there wasn't that much information, so I didn't know about like TMJ and POTS and mast cells and all these really common conditions once you have Ehlers-Danlos. And I didn't get to see a geneticist back then because I was in denial. I was diagnosed on a working diagnosis with a physiatrist and a cardiologist when I was 15. And I tried to live a normal life as much as possible, so I wasn't as engaged in the community. And that affected me because I would take Advils like Tic Tac, and if I would dislocate something, put it back in place and just keep working or doing things with the pain. But he sent me for genetic testing, and I do have a mutation in the FBN2 gene and in the MYLK gene. I do not have the COL, which are the collagen mutations that go with the other types of Ehlers-Danlos. That's why he believes I have the hypermobile type, because I did score an 8 out of 9 on the bite-in scores out of 9 points. And basically, when I was younger, I did score a 9 out of 9, but now I can no longer touch the floor like with my hands, like bend my back all the way down, because I've had several of back issues, so that now I can no longer do it. But when I was younger and a dancer, I was able to. And I told him this, and he's like, yes, you definitely most likely have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and officially diagnosed me. And next, I have Dr. Gel Pen Patel. Now, Dr. Gel Pen Patel is a lifesaver podiatrist for me. I've always had weak ankles growing up, and it became an issue because I was falling a lot lately. And I had seen podiatrists in the past. They're like, oh, you just have hypermobility, you have Ehlers-Danlos, there's nothing much we can do for you because it's not the bones. And they would just tell me to wear a brace and deal with it, basically. And they didn't even like say customize braces or anything. They would just like brush me off. Especially at the major clinic, I felt like that podiatrist didn't listen to me at all. And that was very hurtful because I did suffer from ankle subluxations constantly. And they just felt weak. And so when I met Dr. Gel Pen Patel, I told him about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. He had heard of it, of course, but wasn't too familiar with it. And he actually took the time to research, educate himself with it, and tell me to come back like in 2 weeks. And when I did, he suggested I got AFO braces that were specially made for me. And then he actually, as time went on, and saw that I was still falling, and I had scar tissue, and he saw that the MRI showed that the ligaments were torn. He told me that he could try to do a repair like they do for athletes, but just like it happened in my shoulder, that I had to have 2 surgeries because they repaired it and then it broke again. It's like a rubber band that if you stretch it too much, it breaks, and then if you tie it together, it's just not the same anymore. It'll keep breaking. So that's basically how hypermobility is. And so I told him about cadaver ligaments, and he told me he wasn't aware of how to treat with that. But he did his research and then found the next best thing, because in Florida, apparently they don't really do cadaver ligaments. It's more up north, which I am kind of disappointed on, because I would definitely go for it for my shoulder. But he did find the next best thing. He actually discovered this company that was doing plastic grafts that you can put, and they essentially do the work of the ligaments, and they're plastic, so I can still have MRIs, and I can still, but now I have plastic ligaments on my ankles. And I just had surgery on the left one. I had surgery on the right one last year, and I could definitely feel the difference. I'm still falling a bit because I have weak hips and knees, and I have POTS, but it's certainly gone down a lot, and my ankles don't hyperextend or sublux as much anymore. So I love Dr. Gel Pen Patel and his wonderful medical assistant, LaShonda Troy. LaShonda Troy will like help with the cast, help with putting on orthopedic boots. She would kneel down. She will do anything to make sure you're okay. She listens to you. She makes sure you're not waiting too long in the lobby. Like, seriously, LaShonda is amazing, and she and Dr. Patel make a great team. They are a part of Docs of Special is oh, let me look it up real quick, sorry. Docs of DOCS, Docs of Clinical Specialties, I believe it is. And it is they have several offices, but Dr. Japan Patel and his assistant LaShonda Troy are mostly in the Claremont office. So I have to travel to Claremont, which is also a little far for me. However, it is way better than taking I-4, so I don't mind at all. They're in Claremont, but it's definitely worth the trip because he is a great podiatrist. And LaShonda Troy is amazing. And next, I would like to recognize Dr. Joshua Karras. Dr. Joshua Karras is a colorectal doctor. Now, he specializes in the rectal area. He's not a gastroenterologist. He actually is his own specialty. That's why he's called a colorectal doctor. And I was sent to him because I had developed an abscess in my left butt cheek. This is embarrassing to be putting out there, but it's good to learn because at first I was embarrassed that I felt something down there and wouldn't speak about it, and then it got bigger, and then I got worried, and then they had to do like this surgery and everything. So always speak up when you find something weird in your body, even if it's something that might be embarrassing, because you might not know what it is. And so basically the abscess was pretty big. He cleaned it out and everything, but unfortunately a fistula developed. And if you don't know what a fistula is an opening canal between your rectum and your butt cheek or in your privates, and that causes a lot of uncomfortable situations. I had to have a aceton placement on it, which is a rubber or a plastic drainage that they put down there and leave the an open wound essentially, so it drains. And I've already had several surgeries with them. I've already had 3 surgeries, one for the abscess, one for the aceton placement, one to repair the fistula and take off the aceton, and actually 4, and one to replace the aceton because the fistula came back. So right now I have another surgery with him on Tuesday to remove the seton and attempt to close the fistula again. So fingers crossed, this is the last time that I would need a surgery from Dr. Joshua Carras. But he's amazing. He understands that it's connective tissue with Ehlers Danlos. He told me that my chances of it being successful are fairly lower than the average person because of my poor healing due to Ehlers Danlos. And he just gave me a 50 to 60% chance of it being successful. But I am going for the surgery anyways because I really would want it to be fixed. So fingers crossed that it is successful, please. And he's also fluent in Spanish and English, which I think that is great, because even though I speak more English, watch more English TV, and was an English teacher, I still have to speak Spanish almost every single day, because my parents speak Spanish, my family speaks Spanish, and so I was raised speaking both languages simultaneously. I have an accent when I speak English, and I have an accent when I speak Spanish. So, but there are certain medical terms that I know in Spanish because that's how they were explained to me by my parents, and I forget how to say them in English just because they are just more drilled into my head in Spanish. So I speak Spanglish with Dr. Joshua Carras, which is awesome. And his medical assistant, Pamela, is also amazing. She has gone to the hospital to visit me when I've been in the hospital. She's taking really good care of me, and like, yes, Pamela is amazing as well. I don't know her last name, but if you're watching this and you have any colorectal that you have to have a colonoscopy done, hemorrhoids, I know it's embarrassing to admit, but any colorectal issues that you could develop, Dr. Joshua Carras is very knowledgeable on EDS, and he will treat you well. So moving on, I will like to talk about now about a physical therapist, and her name is Trish Martin, and she's the best land, that they call it either land or aquatic physical therapy, but the best non-aquatic physical therapist I've had. She's actually very well versed on Ehlers-Danlos syndrome because she developed a high interest in the condition after treating a very special zebra that I know. And she's the one that told me to go to Trish, and I love her so much for it, because thanks to her, now I have the Kevin Maldoni exercises. That this is a binder that Trish created for me with all the exercises and how to do them. And then I also have the book Living Life to the Fullest, and this book is amazing. It does have like how to treat it and information about the joints and everything, and how to do the exercises step by step as you are progressing. And this unfortunately for Danlos, our body is weak, and one of the best things we need is physical therapy over and over to make sure that we are strengthening those muscles that are working double what they normally would a normal person, because they have to be working harder to keep those joints in place, since the ligaments and tendons are not doing their job properly. So we are prone to a lot of spasms, and she understands that. Then I have Marlise Javier at Orlando Health outpatient clinic as well, and she's an occupational therapist that did wonders taping my right shoulder that I mentioned that I've had surgery on, and it's never been the same. And she would tape it, and I would feel it more relaxed. If you see, it's usually higher up than the other one because I have scapular issues, and I can't seem to relax it without hurting, and I can't raise it up that much anymore. So she would treat me for that. She was actually the first one to give me plastic splints for my fingers before I bought these, because my fingers, if you didn't see my prior video, are pretty bad without the splints, and this helps keep them like straight. And basically she was working on hand exercises with me, but right now, unfortunately, I'm not seeing Trish or Marlies at the moment. I hope to see them after I recover from surgery, again, because the insurance also limits the amount of surgeries you can get within a year. And luckily, it is still beginning of the year for me, because I was basically bedbound for about 2 months with my ankle surgery because I had complications, and therefore I really do need the physical therapy. And last but not least, I would like to talk about Jennifer Stewart. She is an orthopedic occupational therapist that specializes in hands, shoulders, and elbows. And she has learned a lot of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, because she's done her research, she's had training on it, and she's had firsthand experience seeing how it affects someone, because she's a partner to my brother and the mother to my 3-year-old nephew Gabriel, who's adorable. And so she's like my sister-in-law, and I love her. And she, every time that she finds something about EDS, she shares it with me. She's so supportive. She's taped my hand before, and it was great. But yes, if you live in Palm Coast or Daytona, that's where she's located. Unfortunately, I don't live close to her. That's why I do not see her. But yes, she's in Advent Health Sports and Rehab Center at Palm Coast and Daytona. Oh, and she is very much familiar, like I mentioned, and she will treat you right with the best like care that you deserve. So definitely, if you're in that area, ask for Jennifer Stewart if you need occupational therapy for your upper extremities. Anyways, I know this is a bit of a long video. I hope you made it all the way to the end, and if you did, comment below please, and tell me if you've learned anything, if you have any other doctor suggestions that have made a difference for you. I do administer a Facebook group for Central Florida. It's called Ehlers Danlos Support Group for Orlando and Central Florida. Ehlers Danlos Support Group for Orlando and Central Florida. That's the name of the group, and you can find us on Facebook. We're close to 500 members. We have 492. So if any of you in Central Florida or in Florida, you don't have to live in Central Florida to join. It's just I made it local because after I had to resign from my teaching career, I felt very lonely. And now I am in a world of a zebra dazzle, which is a zebra group, which I love. Then we all help and communicate with each other. So thank you for my zebra dazzle who watched this. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you got something out of it. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye.